Hey, it's Arroe. Podfest brings together 3 different conversations from musicians to authors, directors, doctors, environmentalists, and even cooks in their own kitchen. It's real people with real stories. Podfest 58. We kick things off with the legendary William King from the disco-driven love song creating music machine, the Commodores. Then we're stepping into a real conversation with a man that isn't afraid to show off what's in his heart, Mr. Corbin Bernsen. And our third conversation is all about cars. Cristy Lee from Garage Squad. This is Podfest 58. We are unplugged and totally uncut with the great William King from the Commodores.
I am doing absolutely wonderful. And how are you doing?
Well, we're doing fantastic down here because we're always singing those songs that came from your mind, body, and soul, sir.
Oh, God, I love it, and I love it. Thank you very much.
Don't you love those moments when a song is really just kind of like a whispered something from your imagination, and then all of a sudden you start tinkering around with the instruments, you add in some vocals, and all of a sudden the rest of us are singing right along with you?
I love it. Yeah, most of mine are screaming at me. So. Yeah, and most of mine, they wake me up in the middle of the night, and you think, oh, my God, this is the best song I've ever written. And then the next morning you play it back, you go, what is this? Yeah, most of the things come for me in the middle of the night. And I literally jump up and go downstairs to my studio and actually lay the basics for it. So, yeah, and the most fun of all is exactly what you said. It's tinkering with it, getting everything the way that you want it, getting the melody correct, getting the chord structure correct, finding the right bridge. If the bridge didn't come with the melody at night, it's in your mind. So you have to have other areas of the song to go to. So if it didn't come, you have to make that up. But most of the time, most of the song just comes, and it's just a matter then of doing the arrangement and most of the lyrics. That's the one thing that doesn't come totally for me are the lyrics. So I have to spend time on that. But a lot of times the melody is right there, and I have to sometimes come up with a bridge that I like. But yeah, that's the fun part, is just tinkering around with it.
I wish I would have been in the studio the very first time that you guys were laying down the tracks for "Lady You Bring Me Up," because in radio we use that as a post song. We could not wait until you guys came in there and said, "Lady, you bring me up." I mean, there was such an energy about it.
Well, let me tell you, that song was actually created in my pool house. It was actually created in my pool house. Okay, and again, it was doing a lot of screaming. It was a song that. The melody was kind of like that, but the track was trying to fit the track underneath the melody line. And so we spent probably 3 or 4 hours out there just doing that. Normally, when the song comes like that, it's not difficult because you kind of like get it. You know what I mean? Everything kind of like fits together like a puzzle. But every now and then, the puzzle doesn't quite fit together. And in this case, it didn't quite fit together. We had the lady, but getting the track part to fit correctly up under it was, I think, probably the most difficult part. But it all worked out, thank goodness.
There's been a lot of talk lately about Taylor Swift getting control of her licensing and stuff like that. You guys went through that long before any of this was taking place. I mean, and you survived, William.
Yeah. Even still, people don't realize that the rights to music is basically controlled by the record companies, and a lot of companies demand that when you sign a contract that you have to give up a certain percentage of your music. So some people think it's a bad thing, some people think it's a good thing. It's kind of like in between for me, because without doing that, you don't actually get a chance to become a record recording star, and so there's dues to pay for that. But there is a limit, so I don't think it should be forever. You know what I mean? The record companies make so much money when they do have a hit record. So the bottom line is that it's a fight now for certain things. And it's not over with yet. We still have a long ways to go.
Wow. I was that 7 to midnight jock when Night Shift came into our radio station, and we were all screaming for some Commodores music. And on this particular song, you dominated everything because there's a story here, there's a purpose to this song, and you pushed it out here for us to grab a hold of it and start talking about it.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's very few songs that created and come about in the same way that most people think they are. Okay? And I'll tell you about that song right quick. That song was done by Walter Orange and two other people. And the reason that song came out like that was because after Marvin Gaye was killed, Walter, we call him Walter, Clyde, could not sleep. It just worried him to death. So finally we said, let's just write a song about it, because we were right in the middle of recording. And he did. And that song is Night Shift. Okay? And when they came back with the basic lyrics, and when Walter walked in with the basic lyrics, we thought, that's a hit song. But when we finished with the arrangement on that song and with that Moog synthesizer, we all knew that was a hit song. We just felt it in our bones. That song is also the first song that we won our Grammy with. So it means a lot to us.
So there's always been this talk in radio that you guys grabbed your name because you opened up a dictionary and you pointed at the first word you saw. Is that true? I mean, I got you on the phone. Is that true?
It's absolutely true.
All right.
It's absolutely true. And yeah, it's absolutely true, because we wanted something like, Three Dog Night, or, it's some crazy name, you know what I mean? Blood, Sweat, and Tears, or something, just because back then, you had all these Creedence, Clearwater, all that kind of stuff was going on. But it didn't work out for us. We just came up with this Commodore. Yeah, we I don't know what we want, a commode or something, I don't know, but anyway, whatever. It was, we decided to keep it, and that's how we got the name, yes.
The song Brick House, was it always meant to be a funk tune? Because somewhere in my heart, I still would love to hear it as a jazz song, and maybe that's just I'm a sick disc jockey.
Yeah, I think you're a sick disc jockey. It almost didn't make the album because in the end, some of the guys didn't like it. And so Clyde went in and put a vocal on it just to make sure, because he felt so positive about it. And when he came out from putting a demo vocal on it, he said, "Oh man, that's it, love it," and it made the album. So all of those people that are coming to the ship to hear us on the cruise, they're going to hear Brick House because Clyde went in and did a vocal on it. Otherwise, that would never have been a Brick House. It would never have made the album. It was the last song that went on the album, the very last. So, you never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
Well, people need to book that cruise, and the reason why is because there's a lot of us that have waited a lifetime just to get the opportunity to see you on stage, and here you guys come with that opportunity right now with that cruise. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. We are so looking forward to this, not only because of the fact that they're going to be time to perform to the people, but also I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of the acts again. Everybody's on the show, through the years. And I haven't seen someone like KC. I haven't seen KC in probably 10 or 15 years. And I saw the Jacksons last year, so that's about the closest ones. But Heat Wave and Sister Sledge and the Miracles and, oh my God, George McCrae. I haven't seen him in probably 30 years. So it's going to be a nice time to get together. We can all sit down and break bread, and the people can break bread with us as well. The people on the ship that are coming to see us, the fans, they can sit down next to us while we're having dinner, because we're all going to be having a breaking bread in the same place. And they can sit down and ask us about our lives, what's been going on. We can talk to them about their lives. It's going to be fun. We can get a lot of feedback from people, and I want that because we're in the middle of doing a new album. So I want to get more feedback as to where they are, so it kind of helps me construct the music along with the other guys. So, we're looking forward to this, to sit down and talking to a lot of good people.
Please come back to the show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, William.
Thank you very much. I look forward to that.
You bet. You be brilliant today, okay, sir?
All right. You too. Take care. Thank you.
Road races to off-road races. Man, we love to move things fast in this country. Well, there's a brand new DVD and a hookup on iTunes for you that you got to get. It's called Born to Race Fast Track.
Sterling's right, If we don't get it together, we might as well walk now. There's 2 spots available here, and there's no reason that we can't win them both. Are you in?
Every year we get over 3,000 applicants from all around the world. We pick only 8. We'll have to pass each and every class requirement as a team. If one of you fails, you both fail.
Konnichiwa.
Dude, I'm from Iowa. See, drag racing is for fast cars. Road racing, that's for fast drivers.
Our friends at the World Racing Team are scouting for new drivers. The top 2 students from this class will be back here driving for Lucas Oil Company.
I had nothing to do with it.
Don't you get it? That's exactly your problem.
You're trying to mess with me so that you can stay ahead.
You guys on a team, they're a couple of wrecking balls playing last man standing. You're gonna have to bring your A game.
I'm here to win, even if I have to drag you along with me.
You're the one who's dead weight. You just don't know it yet.
She's cute. Your girlfriend. We have a passion for racing. Very few people understand.
My old man saw my lap times, he would kick my...
It's fun. It's like watching dogs fighting for scraps.
Oh, this baby's got lots of thrills. 150 miles per hour. It's inspiring, it's thrilling, exciting, compelling. Man, if you love any kind of racing, you're going to love putting this inside your DVD player or just hooking up on iTunes. We are unplugged and totally uncut with Corbin Bernsen and your movie. This is Charlotte, North Carolina, home of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Everything about this film is what we live every day in this town.
Right, I know. Going to hit home there, and it's a wonderful thing in this film. I mean, for real race enthusiasts, I've been talking to people around the country, but where there's real racing, I think the landmark of this film is that it's the real stuff. There's no CGI, nothing faked. I mean, everything done was done, and cameras out on the tracks, in the cars. So it's exciting in that way. It's got if anybody remembers the movie Le Mans, it kind of reminds me of that. It's just this real camera work with real racing.
And what's so fascinating is that even though Charlotte is known for NASCAR, that Le Mans racing, there are schools here in the Charlotte area. So when you talk about it's authentic, your character in this movie, as I watched you, I know those people, and they talk the language that you were speaking. So did you take lessons?
No, I didn't, but I think, because the filmmakers they come from racing and they do race. Some of the one of the producers and the writers, they know the language. They live in that world, and most of this film was shot out at the racetrack in California here. So you're deep in it. They did their homework, but I don't know if it's even homework because they're in that world as well. So. Me personally, no, I didn't. But in this case, it didn't really matter to me because I looked at what I had to do, and I think the message that I had is something I understand from different areas in my life. It's about family and it's about teamwork. I guess a lot of people who watch racing think, oh, he's Jeff Gordon. It doesn't, they forget there's a whole team that makes that guy.
There's no better team than a race car team.
I think it's known a little bit more today, but it's not just the pit crew that's changing their tires, and it's just a deep teamwork that we don't see. I mean, in golf, I even understand there. Yeah, sure, it looks like it's Tiger Woods, but it's a team behind people that even in the individual sports, tennis, it's teamwork.
Even when they're at the end of the race, they're sitting there thanking every one of these people that were a part of it, because they realize that none of it would have happened if one player would have stepped away from that team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing happens, in acting. You always see guys get there, the Academy Awards guys, girls, whatever, thank people. They think they're team. They think they're agents, managers, producers, directors. Because something. There's I don't know. I don't even think climbing Everest is without a team. It's certainly not. Your Sherpas and all that. And there's really nothing that is terribly, terribly, completely individual in this world. And if you want to go to the bigger metaphor, given all the crap that's going on around the world right now, it's going to take teamwork, to clean things up. I mean, teamwork is what it's about: family, teamwork, community. Those are the basic foundations of life. And I think when you operate outside of it, you look like you're a hero, a solo explorer. But the truth is, I don't think those people achieve much.
See, what this world needs is a movie that you're starring in where you are the leader of a team that goes into one of these countries and straightens things up, because you're acting, guy. I don't know how you can sway back and forth, but when you deliver a line, we feel that line.
Well, that's nice you just saying that. I appreciate it.
What is it that...
That's very...
Because, I mean, you have been...
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, you've been a great good guy, a really good guy, a funny guy, and then when you watch yourself in this movie, there's leadership all over that character, and you find yourself really, truly believing what you're doing in Fast Track.
Well, at this point in my life, I've got 4 sons, and I better be a leader around here. At least the best I can. As I teach my kids, you just try to do it in a certain... I never teach my kids anything, just do it because that's the way it's supposed to be done, or that's just the law, Don't do this because that's the law. Well, it's a law for a reason, and I try to reason things out. Just because something's on the books, we don't do this, You don't drive more than 25 to a school area. Well, it's a law, and you don't do it because of that, because you don't want a ticket, but there's a bigger reason. It's because kids are crossing the street, I try to get down to the fundamentals of why things are and the way they work, and quite frankly, in my case, with my kids, I teach them through my mistakes. I say, look, I got here a little bit late because I did this,
And do you think that
certain rules of living?
Do you think that's the reason why a lot of critics said that you shaped the future of Hollywood, because you became that person that everybody had to become?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just do my thing, and I don't put a lot of what do a lot of people think about me about it. I know lately, being a guy who's been married for 25 years, 26 years, I've been making faith-based movies that are exploring my faith, which as I get older seems to want to take a deeper foothold in my life. I just do my thing, and I do what feels real and true and experienced, and people say things about it one way or the other, and I try not to listen to too much of that. I just try to stay true to what I know and feel. That's really what I operate on.
The marketing on Born to Race Fast Track is brilliant, because not everybody is going to the movie theater, but you guys have made this available on DVD, and you've made it available on iTunes. That right there says we're in touch with the new generation.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's great. It's wonderful to go to the movie theater. I love going to movies. I love being a part of movies that are in movie theaters. But, I have a company that's called Home Theater Films. Part of the reason I named it that is because everybody's got their flat screens now with surround sounds in their homes. And, sometimes it's nice just to sit with your family or sit by yourself in your house and sit in your home theater, and watch a movie. Look, one thing I've never been too deeply involved in is where we watch our movies, because people are watching. The new iPhone comes out with a 5-inch screen now, so people are going to be watching movies on their iPhone, I'm sure. My instinct has always been to make the film, make the story work, and to me, look, it's great to go to a movie theater. I love it. I went to the movies last night. I love going into a movie theater and watching it with everybody else, but the story is what's important. Whether it's on your iPhone or in IMAX, story is what carries. It doesn't matter how big it is in IMAX. If the story ain't good, it ain't going to work. So story is always important. That's, again, I focus on the story. It goes back to what I said a moment ago.
We love the idea that you're doing the faith-based movies because, there are so many different ways to spread the word of God. And through you guys, we learn a new journey. And it's fabulous that you have given yourself the opportunity to be that guy that basically we live through vicariously.
Yeah, to do a little bit of a plug, I've got a film coming out October 10th. I think it's, in several markets around the country, in theaters initially, Phoenix being one of them. Phoenix and Atlanta and Nashville, I think, and Denver and Houston to start, called Christian Mingle. It's a romantic comedy about the dating website Christian Mingle. It is something that I've moved into, and again, I have a sort of a goal here. I hate to say an agenda because sometimes that sounds bad, but I want people to explore faith who necessarily don't explore faith. I'm not really preaching to the choir, as it were, although my films are obviously wonderful for Christians and others. But it's just I think the world needs to explore faith a little bit more, in general. I think kids do. We've sort of abandoned faith. And it played such a role. It's played such a role in our history and in our goodness and our community. I think it's just to re-explore it a bit is important to me. So I try to make films that don't necessarily hit you over the head, but sort of open up the question.
We are unplugged and totally uncut with Bruno and Cristy Lee from Garage Squad.
Arroe, what's up?
Hey, Arroe, morning.
Hey, what's going on, you two? Congratulations on another season of Garage Squad.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Do you think we'll ever run into that day where there are no longer any dusty, rusty, stalled-out cars?
No.
Hopefully not for our case.
Not anytime.
Because you guys are really putting a lot of excitement into why we should be preserving our cars and not just, getting them for 3 years and then dumping them for a brand new one.
I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Like making the car cool again.
Yeah, because, I'll never forget, my first car was an AMX, and the way that you guys rebuild and put these cars back together, it's just one day I would love to have that feeling where you sit in that front seat and then you relive it in the moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what cars are all about. It's all about, like, the memories, the experience, the drive time with family, with friends, the places that you go with the car. It's not just about the car. I mean, the car's, got to look good along the way, but it's the journey that you take the car through with your friends and family.
Yeah, it's reliving those moments that were something special to you, and it's crazy because people have such an emotional attachment to cars. I know I do, and it's great to interact with people on a regular basis that have those same attachments to it because there's such an emotional connection, and to see them relive that connection when they drive out to all the family and friends is truly a great moment.
So is that part of the show prep then also before you guys start refurbishing a car is that you've got to get the history of it and what this car meant to that person?
It's part of the vetting process really is the story because the story is as big as the car itself. I mean, a lot of people we're trying to help out are people who sometimes fall on hard times, whether it be financially or, physically as well as emotionally. They get to a point in their life where they're a hard time and this car meant something to them. And so to bring it back is bringing back to a part of their life that was a better time for them. So it's an uplifting experience all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it is all about. It's all about the story of the car, the story of the vehicle, and how that has impacted the owner of that car. And, a lot of these cars that we're working on have been sitting for decades. They don't know what to do with it. They're going to sell it. And we come in and we help refurbish this car and get it back out on the road and get the owner back behind the wheel.
Now, what is it like for you guys, though? I mean, like you just talked about that, it takes decades for people to meet back up with the car. But yet within 1 hour, we've met the people, we've met the car, it's all back together again. It's like time flies by fast enough. You guys really make it fly by.
Well, I'd like to say that it flew by that quickly when we're in the garage actually working on these, but it does take a span of 7 days to really complete these projects. And, of course, we do a little due diligence before getting there with parts et cetera, and of course the story behind the vehicle that we're working on. But once we get in there and get in the garage, I mean, it's rip and tear, ready to go, start working on this thing and do as much as we can in the shortest amount of time as possible to get this car back on the road. You know, sometimes it goes over really, really smoothly, and sometimes it doesn't, but that's part of our job is to pull it off.
Honestly, more often than not, it doesn't go very smoothly. We'll have maybe one instance smoothly. We usually get burned somewhere else. I mean, the reality is we don't know really what we're walking into. I mean, the cars have been looked at before. We've had a chance to buy parts, but we haven't stripped them down. We really haven't a chance to dig into the problems, why this car's been sitting stuck in a ditch for the last 6 years is like a vehicle we just found out. And there's a reason why that car was sitting there and stuck. And sometimes it takes a while to divulge the problems and to diagnose the stuff that's going on. And we're coming in the middle of a build. It's not like we saw the beginning, middle, and end. And we just have to try and sort it out as we can.
You talk about buying those parts. How did you buy a part for a 1949 Mercury when I had to junk my Isuzu Amigo because they ran out of parts?
That's what makes part of this show and this process so difficult is finding parts. And like I said, a lot of times we don't know what we need until we're halfway into a build, and it can get very expensive. We've actually one year we sent a guy on the road to Cincinnati to pick up a cylinder head for a Triumph because that was the only way we can get it back in time. And that's just the reality of the world we play in.
What do you mean? You can't just run to your local auto store and pick up parts? F-360 Toyota Land Cruiser? Like, they don't have everything you need for that, just readily available? What?
We're talking about the new season of Garage Squad. What is the classic car that collectors are really reaching for these days? Is it always going to be the Mustang?
I'm a Chevy guy, so I'm going to say it's always going to be a 68 or 69 Camaro.
That's the same. I mean, it's really hard to say. The collector car market, it's kind of like across the board. And, to speak to that, people are really, really diehards for their specific manufacturer. Bruno, you're a Chevy guy. You're always going to be a Chevy guy. People are Mopar people. They're diehards.
Right.
And that's just kind of how it goes. Mustang's the same way. People are Gen 1 diehard Mustang fans, but then people who like Gen 1 might not like the current gen. So it's kind of all over the board. I think that there's such a vast variety of automobilia over decades and decades. It's hard to say that there's just one particular car that really stands out.
Garage Squad is on the flat screen. Do you guys do any podcasts or anything like that for those that are always on the go?
Not me personally. I'm really, really active on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. I spend a lot of time with that, videos, photos, all the fun stuff. Always trying to kind of keep it interactive for the fans, so that when they watch the show, they can kind of tune in on social media, maybe feel a little bit more inside, and some of the fun set shenanigans that we have too, of course.
Cristy's really good at that, and she's really busy. That is no joke. I'm trying to learn her, but she does a great job keeping everybody looped in via social media, and you've always got the MotorTrend app too if you want to check out what's going on with Garage Squad.
Well, congratulations on a brand new season, guys. Come out to the show anytime in the future. The door's always going to be open for you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us on this morning.
Be brilliant today, guys.